Good afternoon, everybody. Yes, we are live. Welcome to Tuesday lunchtimes. Swap around with Andy and myself. And the reason we've done it is because Andy was asked to cover for Rich tonight. So rather than him having two and a bit of a struggle to find the time in the day, I said I would do Tuesday. So he's doing Thursday. So Tuesday and Thursday we swap round. So you've got me lunchtime and then Andy tonight. Weather in the south, what is it? Well, it's bloody miserable. You'll have to excuse Andy, he's just exploded, he's in the background.
Sorry about that, I'll mute myself next time.
Yeah, it's been drizzling most of the morning, it's overcast. It did warm up just before lunchtime, but now it's gone overcast again. So let me bring Andy in and you can all
hello there, everybody.
To him. So Andy's going to be keeping me informed of what we're doing today. So now I've proved that he is awake. We'll get rid of him again. And originally I was going to be doing a winged bowl on my next one. Well, I've had issues with the tailstock on the polewood and I was struggling last time. That is the thrust washer, which should be parallel. It is so dished where the spindle was rubbing against it that it was just causing an issue. It's well and truly worn. So what I've managed to do, I found a supplier that can supply me a bearing. So I'm going to put in, I've ordered it, I'm going to put in a thrust bearing. So without the tailstock, I couldn't do the winged bowl because I need to remount it to turn the outside, to turn the mortise to be able to mount it the right way around. So what are we doing? We're doing as the thumbnail says. We've got this lump of yew, quite a pleasant bit of yew, but normal greenfield thing. It's got a lump missing one side, it's got a lump missing the other side, but it's got some nice grain which will be in the bottom, which hopefully will come through. And getting it under the light, you can see it's really purple across there. Disadvantage is it's got a bark inclusion there that's been flooded with CA and drops down to there where it comes through this side. So hopefully it's not going to be a long one, it's going to be a quickie. I'll stick that on the lathe. Now I've got hold of it, I'll put that on before I change the cameras. Come on to...
Do you want me to tell you who's in?
Yeah, bear with me a second.
Okay, yep, no problem.
I think that's probably the best one. That's sort of overhead. Now I need to kill that light.
That's better.
So that I can see a little bit just now of what I was doing.
No, that'll give us a good view.
That should give you a good view. And I know it looks on its side, but we are overhead. But you can see where the tool will be on there. So I'm going to be running in reverse as normal. I've got the chuck locked onto the spindle so I can safely run it in reverse. I'm going to turn on the big sucker, turn on the little dust scavenger, find some glasses and pass you all over to Andy. Over to you, mate.
Righty ho. So let me just get
this
participants list up. Right. Yeah. So in the chat this morning, this afternoon, it doesn't look like too many. 23. It says there aren't 23 names here, so I'm going to apologise immediately for missing people. But let me know. We've got Andy H is for turning, whoever he may be. Chris Spinningwood Dodger, Circular Wood by Keith, whoever he may be. David J Heath, Eric Winkler, Jay's Cabin, Lawrence Vigasia, Malcolm Douglas, Mark the Gentleman Woodturner, Robbo Robertson, Terry Bartlett, Terry Hooper, and Wood Wizardry by Colin. So welcome everybody, and I'm quite certain there are more people. So do please let me know that you're here, and I'll welcome you.
Yes, welcome everybody. Thank you for finding the time to come over and join us. And a little thank you to Mark for pushing it last night on the end of your live. Sorry I wasn't very prolific in that. I had 2 long business phone calls to make, and the only time I could make them was in the evening. It's just one of those things. Life goes on, but I would have liked to have seen a bit more. I will catch it on watch back later on.
You noticed that Terry Hooper was in already, did you? Which is unusual. He says, "Afternoon, Keith. Afternoon, Keith and Andy. Had early lunch."
Well?
He's had an early lunch. That's what it is. Anyway, welcome, Terry. Pete Twisted Trees. Did I mention him? I don't think I did. Hello, Pete. Welcome. Tony Smith. Chris Dodds. I think I said Chris Dodds, didn't I?
Tony Smith. Is that Tony the taxi?
I don't know. It just says Tony Smith. Hi all.
Right, it could be Tony the taxi as I know him. Eric, for me, turning in reverse means that I don't, as you can see, I'm throwing all the shavings away from me. And as it's you, 90% are going straight down the extraction duct, which you can't quite see, but you can see where they're disappearing off the end of the gouge. So it's no different to turning in forward motion, but I just find it easier. And I can on this lathe. Yeah, and I can on this lathe, so it's not a problem.
Hodgepodge is in. Hello, Robert.
Hi, Robert.
Christine and Michael Heseltine. Nick Castle.
Hi, guys. Oh, we've got a full house. So that's the outside. Pretty good. Nice. I will turn round in a minute and do a final cut this way because I do find it easier to see what I'm doing, but I do need to just put up the tool rest of fraction to put the mortise in the bottom. So that's got to be done in forward because I've only got 1 chisel ground. So that's marked out for the mortise.
I think Chris Dodds I may have missed because I've got Chris Spinneywood Dodger as well, and I get very confused by the Chris's. So apologies for that and welcome.
Yes, you're all welcome. You're all welcome.
Linnykins. Yes, I didn't mention you, did I? I know you were in because you were in right at the beginning. So apologies for that.
Come on in.
Yeah, so apologies for that. It's obviously disappeared off my list.
We'll make a mortise on this. I've got a shorter gouge so I can get in from there.
Terry Hooper's saying, "Hi guys, I know it's Keith's demo, but Andy does the stencil you used last week have a code. I will have a look at it, Terry, and let you know. I'm not really sure."
That's better. So I hope that's not bleaching it out too much. Just got a directional spotlight so I can actually see a little bit. And I know it's a demo, but it's really a good idea that I can see.
It does help.
We're probably running at about 650, 700. Not a massive speed. With sharp tools, you don't specifically need it on a close grain wood like you. If it was pine, it would be a lot faster.
Right, Terry, I've put the manufacturer and the code number in the chat.
Yeah, any questions you got, either for Andy or myself, just put them in. I'm not saying he can't have his 5 seconds of fame on my channel. I do it with his. That's what it's about. We're in it for help each other out.
Absolutely. There's no point getting precious about it, is there?
No, see if I can do a very fine finishing cut on here. Now I've got it's almost an OG shape, but not quite. And when I've finished this one, I can't remember who it was, whether you're in yet or not, but someone was questioning on the comments under last week's video the roundness of the flute on my tools. That's what's just come off. That is probably hair thickness. With a sharp chisel you can do that. So wait for that to stop. It's nice shine on that already, so automatically you could almost go down to 240 grit on there.
Chris,
I think what...
Sorry.
Yes, grab it on this one, it's bigger. I think what they were discussing was I put 2 grinds on. I put the standard bevel on, which is 45, and then I knock the heel off. I believe that's what they were referencing. It's a job to... You can just see the heel being shiny down here on the camera, but they're not the best cameras, but they'll do for the time being. And that's all I'm going to put up. So if it wasn't one of the guys that's on the chat, we can keep an eye on it and perhaps mention it later. Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Got 2 questions.
Okay.
If we can deal with them both at the same time. Keith, do you plan to make a proper handle for the banjo? And your daughter says, what is a banjo? It's the bit that's just gone out of shot.
This bit.
Can't see it.
That's my hando for the banjo.
Yeah, we can't see it.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, is it the hand? Yeah, that's the handle. Yep.
Yeah, that. Yeah. Where's it gone?
But you moved the tool rest away. That's better. We can see it now. It's the spanner hanging off the bolt.
That's the locking one, but the actual banjo is that. That's what locks the banjo. I had thought about turning a wooden handle for it. It might save me walking into that and ending up with a bit of a bruise on the leg. But the locking screw for the tool rest height adjustment, it's a Whitworth one, and they only make metric at the moment. So until I can re-tap that, and I'll probably need to tap it 8mm, nothing's going to happen, and I'm quite happy with it as it is.
If it works for you, that's fine, isn't it?
Yeah, takes me a couple of seconds longer. Right, I'm straight on to 240. And that's been sucked away marvellously. I've dropped the speed right down. I must be somewhere around about 350. And again, I can't give you accurate readouts on speed. The inverter system that came with this lathe has long since died, and I've replaced it with a Vericon Speed Genie. very good. But if I wanted to open the cabinet door, which I don't particularly, or buy another £200 worth of bit for the front, I could have a heads-up display, but I don't need it.
Chris, spinning. Oh no, where am I? Hold on. Oh no, Flick's Wood Turning and Timber Creations is in. That's what I was going to say.
Hi, Flicks. Welcome aboard. Nice to see you again, or hear you again.
Peter Corcoran's in.
Hello, Pete.
And Andrew Wivy Woodshed is in.
Just a little bit round the outside that I just need to get a bit of 120 on, just to. It is only the very last quarter of an inch. Where I rushed the chisel off the edge rather than letting it take its time. I pushed it off. So,
yes,
back on the 240. Yeah,
always tempting. Yep.
Yeah, you're getting to the end of the run, and you think, "Oh, just a quick push, and I'm there." A quick push, and you're not there because you've got to go back and sort it out. Then, so that's 240. Let's clean that, an absolute gem. Now let's flood it with some sanding sealer. Well, not flood it, but put some sanding sealer on. And that will all of a sudden bring that to life. That light purple now is quite a vivid purple. This is the Mylands shellac sanding sealer that I use. It works for me. I know a lot of you have gone over to the cellulose or the acrylics. I find using what works gives me better results. It takes a few seconds to dry off because there's a little bit more moisture in there, but that's dry enough now to go straight over it with Yorkshire grit.
32 watching now.
Welcome, guys. How about that? Even got it the right way up.
Ian in the shed says hi everyone, and also says nice looking piece of view.
It's a gorgeous piece, or it will be when it's finished. It was a bit gnarly to start with, but they weren't as deep as some of the issues that I've turned before. But it's got absolutely gorgeous colour and wild grain. These cameras won't do it justice, but I'm hoping that the turn-in and a picture that I can take later on, will give it proper justice.
We can see that purple colour. It's gorgeous.
Right. Forward, drop the speed right down. Work it in a bit to start with. The lowest your lathe will go, within reason. Mine goes down to 2, but 2's a little bit sedentary. So this is about 60.
Could spend all afternoon watching it.
Yeah, I've worked it in, so I can now knock it up a bit. We're going up to about 250 now. The more time you can waste, you can actually feel and hear the paste working.
A comment from Jay's cabin. Can you turn the camera 180 degrees so the lathe is the right way? Not a big deal, just my brain saying this isn't funny.
Well, you're getting more or less what I'm looking at. No, I can't easily, because if I do that, you'll be upside down, and that'll make your brain even worse. It's not an easy thing to position cameras when you're turning, because I'm trying to give you the best shot that I can, and more or less what I'm looking at, I'm looking down that sort of line. I can't excuse me, I can't get a camera, or I can't fix a camera on my shoulder, which would be the ideal place. No good putting it on my head, because that would be all over the place. But I can't. It would be nice to get a camera on a shoulder mount. So this is taking it down from the 240 that I sanded to the equivalent of about 1,000. Now the colour you can see in that paper is not the wax, it's actually the fine dust off of the wood. So what I can do now is find a clean piece of paper. If I knock that a little bit, find a clean bit of the paper, wipe it over, and this is where I can cheat, because I will now go into reverse, which I find gives it a little bit more chance of working it in as well, before I totally wipe the whole lot off, or the paper comes away clean. What we're looking for is no residue on the paper. One more. Last clean piece of paper. So we're going in with a clean piece of paper. Wiping it off. And there we are. We're clean. So find some wood wax 22. A new tin. Never been touched by a human before, let alone me. Go sparingly with it. It's better to put on 3 meagre coats than 1 flood. That's it on. Just fast enough so that it doesn't stall on there.
Couple of suggestions for Jay's cabin to sort his picture out. You could watch through a mirror, Chris Spenningwood Dodger says. Pete Twisted Trees says, just watch the TV from the back, that'll sort it.
Yeah, sit in the other room.
Yeah, very helpful comments.
With wood wax 22, you need to buff it off straight away. There are other waxes that you can use. This is an instant one and ideal for demos. I quite often use Libron paste wax, because I can put that on, wander off, come back quarter of an hour later and buff it off and get the best results. So I'm just holding the paper on it. I'm not burnishing it off. I'm not trying to take all the wax off that I've just lovingly put on. So there we are. Back done. You can see the gloss on that, the shine on that.
25 minutes, not bad at all.
Yeah, it was sort of 15 minutes in the production run, but
Not a race anyway.
No, no. And my usual trick is just to get it to pinch on the jaws, twist it. If you've got wax in there, you've got sanding sealer in the mortise, that will just clean it out with the jaws before you finally tweak it up, and we're good to go. I suppose this is the time-consuming piece for me, turning everything, getting the spanner on and doing it that way, but it's not a major issue. I'm quite happy with it. I should run with it for the time being. Right, now we're running in forward. Put the bevel on so you know where the edge is. Bring it to the edge, slide it in a fraction, and
Steve Hawley says hello.
Cut.
Steve Hawley. I think
that's a new name. I think I've seen you in someone else's.
Yeah, he said good day all, so he's probably from Australia.
Yeah. So anyone with watching issues, have a word with Steve and was it Chris is the other one? They're both from Australia, so they're used to looking at things from a different angle.
Upside down, that was said earlier, yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Slide the tool back.
And Chris has actually got a bad back. Chris Spinnywood Dodger is apologising for his incessant typing, but his board was sitting there with his bad back. So let's hope it soon gets better, Chris.
Yeah, come and have a wine. I know how you feel. I'm an ex-plumber. Suffered with a bad back for at least the last 15 years of working life.
Mark's making the comment about everyone in U-Bowl fighting this week. It certainly seems to be. I've got 2 to come yet this week. Yeah. Both of you.
So now I'm turning forward, but the bevel's pointing away from me. So everything in the bevel is being thrown away from me. You see how it's being thrown away? So I'm keeping as far clear of the dust as I can. A little bit aggressive, that cut. Now for this one I should turn left-handed, so it's throwing it away from me again. I'm fairly lucky that I can turn left or right-handed. I'm better off right-handed. That's given me the step that I need, so I can now come back in right-handed, throw it away. Working down to a little nub there. Before I take the ring center out, have a quick look. You can't see it, but that absolutely looks lovely. And there's a nice rim. It's not going to be fancy, it's just going to be hollow. So now I can take the ring center off.
Look at that colour though.
And for you that can't get hold of you, I do feel sorry for you, but there you go. We have, and it is gorgeous. So for the technos out there, it's about 650, 700 still. Don't need a massive amount of volume. On such a close grained wood as what this is. try a different camera as I can, because 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that one better or not, guys? You're cool. Yes or no?
You can take it both ways. To be honest, they're both quite
Okay,
clear.
well, leave it on this one for a minute. Just different point of view, different vision point. You can.
Ruby Claire is in.
Hello, Ruby.
And Jennifer's Craft and Creations.
Hello, Jennifer. Thank you, all 33 of you, for coming over.
Jay's cabin is happy you swapped to this camera. He said this is fine.
We do get some picky ones in, don't we, mate? Eh? We aim to please. The problem is I'm not watching the camera.
That's my job, but I'm easily pleased, sir.
So, what am I on? I'm on, I think this is an English 1/2 inch and an American 3/4 inch bowl gouge. So you don't need to be small. You can, with the bit removed off the heel, you can actually get fairly tight. Don't need a massive heel on there for bevel rubbing. Sometimes the smaller the heel, the smaller the bevel, the better you can control it. So out of that, what would normally be about 15mm bevel, I've only got 8mm bevel support. And that's ground at 45 degrees, as near as damn it.
Linnykins is leaving.
See you, kiddo. Thank you. So now I've got to choose, do I go thinner or do I leave it at that thickness? I'm going to bleach you out for a minute, guys, because I do need to be able to see this final cut. You can see a bit of it. It's not too bad, but grabbed it just there and I've pulled it tight, so I've left a little heel mark.
I'm just going to put a link in for my live tonight, if that's
Please
all right with you.
feel free, Andy. Yeah, feel free, mate.
There it is. It's there.
Right. So that, let's kill that for a minute. No, perhaps not kill it. Turn it down. So you can see more into there. I come in with the bevel pointing about 10 past, between 5 and 10 past on the clock. As I go down, I'm opening it more, So now I'm pointing at 5 past. As I get to the transition between the side and the base, I'm about 3 minutes past. So that means the smallest amount of metal on the nose of the bevel is following me round. So once I've gone past the little sharpish edge in there, it's not that sharp, I can then flatten back out again. I'm now again about between 5 and 10 past, and I'm now lifting the handle slightly to get to the centre and finish at almost quarter past. So that's fully closed, that's just open. So I'm going across there carefully. You can control the cut, you can control the speed of cut, and you can control the depth of cut quite easily by doing that. And that is reasonable enough that I don't need to revert to a smaller chisel or anything else.
Douglas Mungham is in.
Hello, Douglas. I will just rattle this with a bit of 80 to start with. I've got 1 or 2 small ridges in there. So with the speed down, not pressing too hard, last thing you want on you is to generate any heat. I've got 2 thicknesses of paper. If you can feel heat through the paper or you can't bear to hold the paper, you are pressing much too hard. And the other thing with abrasive on new is that a new piece is far superior than something that you've used on 15 bowls already and you think there's still a cutting edge on it. It's the cutting edge of the grit that you wear off on particularly something like this. But again, having said that, if you were turning pine, deal, the softwoods, the abrasive will clog up. The only one that won't clog up or can be knocked out is the Abranet, the net abrasive. So that's just gone very lightly over it on 80 grit, straight onto 120. Worst bit is in the very middle because the wood is actually standing still. On this size bowl, I don't think it's worth getting the power sander out. I've never gained anything from doing it. Now I'm on 120. I'm just going to lightly knock off the knife sharp edge that was on there before it attacks me. So that's 120. Where did I put the 240? Must be that piece. Yep.
Les Rutherford is in and says, "Afternoon, Keith, and greetings, Mr. Heath." It's very formal.
Hello, Les. Yeah. Yes, it's Andy to you.
Hello, Les.
No lords and ladies on here. Yes, we're trying to be friendly to everyone. There's 1 or 2 Christian names that I can't remember, but that's something to do with age.
Tell me about it.
Well, you're as bad, so
yeah, I know.
Right, that's 240. Happy with that? Yeah, happy with that.
It's looking lovely. It's going to look good with the sanding sealant on it.
Yep, well, you'll be able to see how good it does look if I can remember where I put it. Yeah, I put it over there.
That colour's gorgeous, isn't it?
Quick shake.
There's a bit more of that purple than I thought there was going to be as well. It's nice.
There's a double edge through there. Yeah,
and it extends right to the edges as well.
So there it comes. I just want to keep the sanding sealer moving because being shellac, this is thinned down almost 50-50 from the manufacturer's bottle with meths. So rather than wipe off the dust with meths, I'm wiping it off with the sanding sealer. Can you see yes, you can see the purple quite well there.
It's lovely.
Just give that 2 or 3 minutes to flash off, and while that's doing that, I can kill the big sucky outy beastie. Don't need that anymore.
Not that we can hear it, of course.
No, but I can.
Yes.
It's just in the background all the time.
Yeah.
To hell with it. New bit of paper.
Give the cat goldfish.
Yeah. It's here somewhere. But, it's not expensive for paper. Right. Normal thing. Yorkshire git. To take it now from 240 sanded up to the equivalent of about 1,000.
I thought about singing them, but I thought better of it.
Yeah, that's a bonus. I don't want to hear Andy sing. It's like the cat's got something. Right, speed right down.
Not that good.
Just creep the speed up a bit. I can hear it crunching over the wood. It's almost a shame you guys can't, for those that haven't used it. But it does work quite quick. It's worked in a bit, so I'll push the speed up a bit. The idea is to try and work some of the beeswax, the canubra wax, the whatever other wax it is, the baby oil one, mineral oil, into the wood, generate a little bit of heat, get them to permeate into the wood to build the shine up from the inside. So can you see? Yes, you can just about. Which camera are we on? We're on
this one over here.
We're on that one, that's right. Okay, you can, it's not easy to see, but you can see the darkness up there, which is the dust that's come off of there.
Oh yeah, yep. Just caught a glimpse then, yep, just there. Yep.
So yep, fold it in, find a fresh piece of paper. You can actually creep the speed up a little bit more.
Peter Corcoran's given us the words, so we don't have to sing it, so that's all right.
Oh, good. Well done, Pete.
And Terry Hooper says, no, Andy, it's bad enough hearing Wayne's earworm sing Gritty.
I
didn't say that.
No, don't upset them. Don't want Joe coming down and sitting on you.
Yeah, I don't want to get on that list.
Perhaps you might, but it's not something I would relish. Big northern right hook.
Rob, Copper L Wood Turning says hi.
Hello, mate. That has now come away clean. Completely clean. I'll just give it a quick final wipe just to be doubly sure. And to do that, I'll just whack it in reverse. And any pores and fissures that you've got. Hopefully that will wipe it out of that as well. So it's not essential, but it's something I've got used to doing, and that's come away perfectly clean. Just throw that where I know where it's not going to find it again.
There's a random question just come up. Hi, Keith, Andy, and everyone. What's your favourite cake? That's a random question.
It's a random question. Where's it coming from?
From Steve Scott.
Well, next time you're up, Steve, I'm partial to a Dundee cake with lots of fruit in.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh yes.
No, I can't take. Double choc fudge has just been mentioned by Peter Corcoran. I'll go with that. Anything chocolatey.
I know. That's why you're so bleeding fat, mate. Hey,
yeah,
look at me, super slim like me. God. And for those that don't know Andy and myself, I'm quite a bit heavier than what he is.
That's it. Got it.
Good. Right. Just a light.
Oh, Terry's is diabetic lemon drizzle.
Yeah, it's a pufter's cake, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah, no substance. That Ruby Claire likes lemon pound. I'm not sure what that is, but obviously lemon.
Lemon and a pound of sugar, I should think.
Carrot cake, as it counts as one of your 5 a day, from Andrew.
Yeah, I'll go with that. As long as there's not too much tart on the top of it.
Yeah.
It's when it's flooded with all the other ingredients you don't want with carrots. Really, it makes it so sweet. I find.
I'm not a great cake eater, if I'm honest. I tend to go for savoury things.
I'm more savoury, but I do like a cake.
Just now and again. Makes a nice change.
Well, I usually have a bit at lunchtime in my lunchbox, just to give me a little bit of sugar through the day, because I take all my drinks my coffee without sugar. So I do find that sometimes I've got to just boost the sugar levels.
Yep. Yeah, Robert Hodgepodge says much more of a pie kind of guy here.
What, snake and onion?
Well, no, Chris Spinning Wood Dodger suggests beaver pie.
Oh. All right, let's see if I can get
He knows
back.
how to upset people.
Yeah. Is it that one?
Now you're talking, Peter. He's eating cheese straws at the moment.
Not that one.
Peter Corcoran. I could go for those any day.
Yeah. It's that one.
Sorry, I'm too busy looking at the chat and looking at all these food stuffs.
Yep. Right.
Yeah, we can put up with that one for a few minutes here.
There we are. Hey, let's get that lot of rubbish off the screen, and I can actually see a better picture.
That's absolutely lovely, Keith. That really has turned out well, hasn't it?
I'm pleased with it.
Yeah, as we thought it might, but yeah, it's gorgeous.
So that's 6 inches diameter by 1 3/4 inches deep. You've got all the pippy bits on the bottom. You've got the purple vein running through, which you can't see a lot of, but all of a sudden you've got a lot just there.
You've even got some bits of sapwood as well. So you've got all the features of you, really, haven't you?
A little bit of sapwood round there, which is the white wood. So there we are.
Gorgeous.
It's a 36-minute bowl, which could have been 30 minutes if we hadn't been chatting. So it's a quick one today, guys, unless you want to see me turn out the inside of another bowl. Let's put that one to one side so it's safe. I have this one started. It's another U-bowl. It's one I started down the museum, and it just needs hollowing out. I'm quite happy to put that one on to carry on if you guys are okay with that. It's just a matter of me mullering out the centre.
Yes, please, says Steve Scott. Very nice, Keith, says John McDonald. So Steve Scott says yes, please.
Put my eyeballs in.
I'm going to have to leave you to it because I've got a meeting.
I know you've got to rush off.
Men's sheds to sort out. Go for it, David Heath.
Good.
Well, Mike Doyle's just come in, I think. So.
I would be able to see what we're doing then, even if it is the different one. Let's go back onto cameras. Let's turn that light off because that kills it completely for you guys. Cameras. Now,
yes, please, Keith, says Ian Leonard. So there's quite a few people saying yes, please. Yeah. Go for it. You still got you're 35 watching now.
Yeah, so right. You've got the choice of that camera, which is number 1, or no, not that one, or that camera, which is number 2. Which one do you want, guys? Put it in the chat quickly.
No, not number 2. You don't want that one.
Do I want this one?
Yeah.
This one?
That's all right. No, it's only just caught up on YouTube.
Yeah. This one, I think, is probably the better one for you.
That's probably the better view, yeah. Yep.
Okay. So, again, with my baby 3/4 inch, 1/2 inch, whatever you want to call it, 1/2 inch bowl gouge.
You've got several 2s and 1 1, so that's fairly typical, isn't it? But but 2 is what you ended up with, so that's all right.
Yep.
So I'm going to have to love you and leave you, Keith.
Okay, Andy. Cheers,
so
mate.
I'm sure you can manage without me.
Yeah.
But no, it's been a privilege. Thank you very much, and bye, everybody.
There's Brother Edmonds 22. Right. Put it on twice. Yeah. Just pick up the edge. There it is. Run it round. And this piece is very hard. I'm not trying to make excuses, but I did turn the outside on Sunday, and it's surprising how dense it is. I'll try and keep up with the chat, but you might need to put it in twice. If you have any questions. And if you want to talk about Andy, that's fine. I'll mention it to him tonight, because I'm worming for him tonight. Let the chisel do the work. Don't force it. I'm just holding it on the wood. Clear that lot before it disappears down the big sucky thing. Because if it disappears down there, I should need to go into the garage next door to retrieve it from the grating above the impeller. At the moment, it's still sucking well, so we're good. Hello, Paul. It's only me today, and you just missed Andy. he's got to run off to the men's shed meeting that's organised. So this is the second bowl that I'm hollowing out. It was part turned on Sunday down at the museum. It ran out of time. Too many punters coming through wanting to talk to me, wanting to ask me about wood turning, the museum, everything, which is what we're down there for. So pick up an edge, in we go. I'm not going to make this one thin. To me, this shape says heavier. And it's more of a dog bowl style. It's not so elegant and lifted as the previous one. So just the style of the bowl, to me, determines the wall thickness. Mike Dill's off to work. Thanks for stopping by, Mike. Now, my chat is a bit behind what you guys are watching on YouTube, so I'm not ignoring you. I'm doing the best I can, but I play you. Everyone on StreamYard plays catch up. I think it's that way round. I know the comments take a bit of time to come through. Got a little ridge in there. There. Feels pretty good. I stick it in reverse. I can actually see the ridge now. Yeah. Just about got enough room to get the handle round. Missed the camera gantry and everything else around the back. Fighting around the back of the lathe. Quite bland, but quite a hard centre of the tree was up through here. So we're getting towards the sap, but this was out of a 3-4 foot wide board nearly. Where did you hide the 80 grit? Just to initially take the lumps off. John. Thanks, Les, for stopping by. Intersection between the base and the side. Up to 120. So when am I on next? I'm on next Thursday evening, I believe, guys. I'm on then. Hopefully I will be doing the returning, second turning of the weed bowl that I did promise for this week, but hasn't been done because of failed stock issues. There is all the truck washer in there so far bothered. I've actually found a brush bearing that I can put in there to make life a bit easier. I do need the tail stock for that, the tail stock support to reverse turn it to start with to give me a chucking point. The chucking point has gone oval in the drying of it. Those swing bowls are something I turned 5-6 years ago, I don't know. Fair time ago. You guys talk to yourself as you're turning, as you're doing things. Can you hear me, guys? Can you hear me now? Hello, hello. Just stick a yes in the chat. Otherwise, I'm talking to myself. Good. Well done, guys. Thank you. Sorry about that. When I knocked the headset off, it must have defaulted to off. So that's sanded. Just come. This is what 240 now. You haven't missed much of me chatting. Colin's got to go. Thanks, Colin, for stopping by. Hopefully catch up with you tonight in Andy's. I don't happen to have his link handy, otherwise I could pop that in. So what does that look like? That looks pretty good to me, and I'm the one that can see it. Quick sanding seal to bring the colour out. Mop out the excess. I can at least turn the dust extractor off now, so that's the big noisy thing gone. Yorkshire grit there. There's a row of little pippy branches just there. That's what the brown spots are. Let's treat myself to a new bit of paper to put this on. So rather than grab a handful and just squash it up, my tendency is to fold the sheet in half and then fold it three times the other way, so I've got a pad without being a massive pad. I mean, I don't mind using it, but I don't see the point in wasting it. Put the lid on before it goes and finishes up in the sawdust on the floor. Right, drop that down to about 30-ish to 50. Massage it in. Listen to it stop talking to you. Same way you fold Robert's toilet paper, eh? Okay. Enough said on there, Hodge. How does Harry fold his? Or does he go wet wash? I think I have to agree with Chris on that. Too much information, Hodge, but there you go. You say what you like, mate. We won't hold it against you. Much. Harry's got his water flowing B-day then. Yeah, one would have thought so. How's Harry's sex life at the moment, Robert? Haven't heard much about it recently. Is it on hold? Is it all folded? I think I was a little bit someone else's, the amount I put on there, but no, it is mine. I buy it. I'm not sponsored by anyone. I can use whoever's, whatever I fancy to use. I don't don't have to be accountable to Glyn, but I like the Yorkshire grit, so I use it. I also use chestnuts if it's very white wood. I find that it doesn't discolour quite as much as Yorkshire grit. I think we got cleaner bees down in Suffolk, where Terry sources his beeswax from. Good morning, Doug. Thank you for joining us. So Harry's got a definite firm hold on it. You know they can lock you up for that, and you need glasses at a later time. Right, just ramp the volume up. Finish buffing that in and off. So that's an absolutely spotless piece of paper on that now. So I will use a different method of waxing on this one because I did on the outside. And I used this method before Glyn introduced Yorkshire grit. This is Libron fine paste wax. The only problem with this is I won't be able to buff it up. I put it on with a Niweb pad. This one is equivalent to 1600 grit. So I'll buff it on with that and use it as a cutting medium to cut through the sanding sealer that we've just put on. I'm saying this one's a slow cure. I'm not sure. Hang on, I'll read the instructions. I've got one that says you need to leave it on for 20 minutes before you buff it off. God, they make that small. Oh yeah, it does say best left on for 20 minutes. So I shan't be buffing that off for the time being because you don't get the finish on it. But through putting it on with a Scotch pad, like I did then, I find that you can then increase the finish inside there to equivalent of 1600, if not finer, by wet sanding it. So let's find a different camera, and you guys can look at me because I hate talking to a bit of wood. There we are. Let's put that light on. Take these off. Oh, that's better. So, is there any questions? Mark's saying he doesn't find Yorkshire grit discolours at all. To be fair, it's definitely better than chestnut stuff. Beg to differ on one or two of the very light woods. White holly, I find it ends up not quite white, but maybe the way I'm using it, maybe the sanding sealer that I'm using. If you're using straight out of the rattle can acrylic or cellulose sanding sealer, it might well be okay. My preference for sanding sealer is the Mylands. I've used it from almost day one, so it may well be me. But you know, we've all got our own preferences, the way we do things. So that's why I use chestnut on the very light woods. Doug Miller, Keith, Andy, Peter Hodge. Sorry if you missed anyone. Hey, possibly. I don't know. I don't know who's in the chat. Yeah, what sanding sealer do you use, Mark? Do you use the shellac or the cellulose? Because the shellac has a certain amount of chalk in it, and it comes out the bottle brownish. I won't have any because I've just emptied the bottle because the pot was empty. Yeah, it comes out the bottle slightly brownish, like David he says, horses for courses. Yeah, if you're using cellulose thinners, you're putting in a white or a non-coloured liquid. I use meths in this, which is purple or denatured alcohol to you guys in over the pond. It works for me. I'm not saying it's the only way or it's the right way or it's the wrong way. It works for me. You know, why have we got a dozen different manufacturers, Libron, Mylands, Chestnut, all producing waxes and finishes if there's only one good one? So I will polish this up in another quarter of an hour and take it off and put some pictures up later on. But if you've got any questions, slap them in there, guys. Almost seems a shame with 30 of you still watching to call it a day. Yeah, Mark's only thins it 60-40. I generally thin it 50-50. Straight out of the bottle is much too thick unless you're going to do French polishing. Sidley's going to take his inspiration from an experienced turner. I don't know who that is today. It's certainly not me. I might have been turning 30 years, but only seriously, not professionally, but amateurish for the last 3-4. But I enjoy it. And like I say, if we all use the same products, there would be a lot of unemployment because Terry certainly couldn't make enough of the finishes he does for all of us. And Hampshire Sheen, Martin wouldn't be able to live without his finishes. So we all have slightly different methods of applying, working it in, how we finish things. Do you want a mirror-like finish? Do you want a wax handleable finish? I might well go over this with microcrystalline later on, just to give it a more finger-proof finish. I do most of my waxed bowls that way, but usually off of the lathe and 24 hours after I've turned them, or even longer. Quite often we'll do that as we put them out for sale. Yeah, Robert, you're right. Many professionals don't use sanding paste. I use it because it keeps the dust down. So it works for me. Yeah, Mark saying he may not be as experienced as some, but he's been tutored by some of the best turners in the world. Yeah, so have I. It's not a bragging right, but you know, I've spent time with Les Thorne, and I know Les Thorne speaks highly of me as well. So, and I've taught a good few many people as well. It work, like I say, it works for me. Right? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the contents of any of them, Hodge. I think mineral oil is the one of the base carriers that they use. And it was the same for us over here, David. There wasn't that much on the market when I first started. You had to develop a finish yourself. I got into wet sanding with the wax to keep the final dust down. Must be 20 years ago. I certainly use it on and after Yorkshire Grit. I don't have the ultra fine from Glyn. Possibly wouldn't need it then. Apparently that takes you down from or up from 1,000 grit to the equivalent of 2,000, 2002, which is mirror-like. But it's what you get used to using. You know, why fix something that's not broken? I'm keeping the ultra-fine dust away from me. I'm keeping it out the air. You wouldn't think so at times, looking around this little workshop. There's a good layer of dust everywhere. But wall extraction running when I walk in, directly above me and to the side of me now. It takes it straight outside. 9 times out of 10 I've got the door open, but it was a bit nippy today, and the wind was blowing in the wrong direction. So when it's like that, I leave the door shut. How long have we been? About just over 5 minutes. It's setting up a bit. Let's give it a quick spin. See if it does want to come off or take too much off. You can generally tell when the wax is ready to come off or be buffed, shall we say. Joe's saying there's nothing in Yorkshire Grit to discolour anything. Fine. It's the way I'm using it then, Joe. It's probably the sanding sealer that I use. Right, it's not buffing up too bad. It's still a little bit soft. Right, I'll let you guys see this one. It's buffed up, not 100%, but it's buffed up quite well, considering it hasn't been on there, hasn't sat as long as I normally like it to. But, that's a bowl that I turned Sunday down the museum the outside of. Didn't get a chance to turn the inside, which I've just roughed out today. So that is a uniform 12mm wall. Fairly straight nondescript grain, but quite a hard piece of yew. There's that one, and this was the original that I've done complete today. Much thinner wall at 5mm. Gorgeous colour in there. Purple down through there. Down through there. Pips in the bottom. Purple through the base. Right the way through. And the little pips in the bottom. So 2 different bowls. 2 different shaped bowls. The light one turned thinner. The heavier one turned left fatter. So there it is, guys. Both. The round one's 5.5, the little one's 6 inches. 6 inch by 1.75 inches, and the deep one is 2.25. So that's me done, guys. So thank you all for coming in. Well done, Chris. It's just popped up. I did well. So I'm glad you've enjoyed it. Glad we've had a bit of a chat. Sorry Andy had to escape a little bit early, but we'll both be back on tonight. I'll be worming for Andy at 8 o'clock tonight. Let me go and see if I can find a link for him. You have to bear with me chatting while I go onto YouTube to see if I can find it. Andy H is for turning. What have we got? Hollow form. That's tonight. So the link for tonight is that one. So if you'd like to go over and watch Andy do a bit tonight with me worming for him, you can join us on that link and have a laugh. That's 8 o'clock tonight. And that's not me. He's just come up under my name because I've posted it on there. But that's Andy H for turning. So thank you guys. Take care. Appreciate you all coming over and spending your lunch break with me. I'm going to sign off now and go in for a cup of coffee. Sit down for a little while before I come back and a little bit of tidying up. I'm not going to do too much. Don't want to scare the broom by making it work. So I'm going to hit the end broadcast, guys. So once again, thank you everybody for popping over and supporting me, and see you all another time. Bye for now.